Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about the permanent tissue. In this topic, we are going to study what are the permanent tissue, types of permanent tissue, that is simple, complex, spatial, functions of permanent tissue, and types of vascular bundles. So let's see first what are the permanent tissue. So see that actually the permanent tissue, these are the meristematic cells which have the ability of continuous division. So these meristematic cells undergoes division to add the derivatives, and these derivatives after performing its particular function converted into the permanent tissue. So let's see that the meristematic cells undergoes division to add the derivatives, and these derivatives functions as an permanent tissue. So let's see what are the permanent tissue. So see that these are developed by the derivatives added by the meristeme, and depending upon the nature of constituent, the permanent tissues are going to categorized under the three types, that is the simple tissue system, complex tissue system, and spatial type of tissue system. So let's see that this is the permanent tissue. They get categorized under the three types, that is simple, complex, and spatial. So this simple type of tissue, they are called as an homogeneous because they are formed from a similar type of or similar group of cell. That's why the simple tissue system, it is homogeneous in nature. If we observe the complex tissue system, so this complex tissue system, it is formed from different types of cells. That's why it is heterogeneous in nature. And regarding about the spatial tissue system, this type of tissue system, it is either homogeneous or heterogeneous in nature. So let's see one by one. So let's see that what are the simple tissues. These simple tissues, they are categorized under the three types, that is parenchyma, parenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So let's see what is parenchyma. So let's see first the structure of parenchymatous tissue. So if we observe the structure, the parenchyma cells, they are either circular or oval in nature. They show presence of prominent nucleus, dense cytoplasm, and there is a gap in between these two cells. So that gap, it is called as an intracellular space. So this parenchyma tissue shows presence of intracellular space, as well as it shows presence of vacuoles. Basically, these parenchyma cells, as they show presence of nucleus and cytoplasm, that's why these are the living tissues, and they are present inside the cortex region of either root or shoot. When we take the TS of root or shoot, see that these are the parenchymatous tissues which are present in the cortex region. So depending upon the nature of constituent, let's see that these parenchyma tissues, they are developed from the homogeneous group of cells. These are the living cells. The cells show presence of thin cell wall, and this cell wall, it is made from the cellulose. The cells are either circular or oval in nature. They show presence of vacuoles, intracellular spaces. They show presence of prominent nucleus and dense cytoplasm. So let's see that depending upon the nature of constituent, the parenchymatous tissues further get categorized under the three types. So this one, if you observe the structure, it is called as an chlorenchyma. This one is the arenchyma, and this is called as an idioblast. So what is the difference in between these three? So let's see that. Whenever the parenchyma cells shows a presence of chloroplast, they are categorized as an chlorenchyma. And this chlorenchyma cells, they help in the process of photosynthesis. The next one, this is called as this is a mesh-like structure which is formed by the parenchymatous cells. So these are the arenchyma cells, and these arenchyma basically present in the hydrophytic plants. For example, you can take an example of Hydrilla, Econia. The arenchyma gives buoyancy to the plants. The function of arenchyma is they gives buoyancy to the plant. And whenever the parenchyma tissues, they can store different type of food materials, for example fats, oils inside it, then that structure of parenchyma, it is called as an idioblast. So depending upon the nature, see that the chlorenchyma, they functions or they helps in the process of photosynthesis. Arenchyma, they gives buoyancy to the plants, and idioblast, these are the parenchymatous cells which stores the food material. And see that these parenchymatous cells, they are basically present in the cortex region. So let's see the next type of simple tissue system, that is the cholenchyma. If we observe the structure, see that again the cells are circular, and if we compare the cholenchyma along with the parenchyma, if you observe the cell wall of cholenchyma, it is somewhat thick than the parenchymatous cell. Okay, so these cholenchyma cells, these are also living one. They show presence of vacuoles, and if we observe the cell wall, so the cell wall, it shows a thick deposition of cellulose and pectin. Basically these cholenchyma cells, they are present inside the herbaceous plant. And again, if we observe the deposition of cellulose and pectin, so depending upon the deposition of cellulose and pectin material, the cholenchyma tissues, they are categorized under the four types. So let's see what are that four types. So the first type, it is called as an angular cholenchyma. So if you observe the structure of angular cholenchyma here, so you see that in the corners there is higher deposition of cellulose and pectin. You see the dark patches, dark black patches in the corners. So this dark patches, it is the thick deposition of cellulose and pectin. And as this thick deposition, it is present in the corners, that's why it is called as an angular cholenchyma. And basically this angular cholenchyma, they are present in the stem or petiole regions. Then the next type of cholenchyma, it is called as an annular cholenchyma. So see that the annular cholenchyma shows the evenly thick deposition at all sides. If you observe the cell, you can see that these dark patches, they are evenly or they show even deposition of cellulose and pectin. So this one, it is called as an annular cholenchyma, and this annular cholenchyma, it is present in the leaf region. So the next type of cholenchyma, it is called as an laminar cholenchyma. So actually this laminar cholenchyma, it is similar with the angular cholenchyma, But if you observe the cells here, they are regularly arranged and shows even thick deposition of cellulose and pectin. So this type, it is called as an laminar collenchyma, in which the cells are regularly arranged. Then next type, it is called as an lacunar collenchyma. So if you observe the thickening of cellulose and pectin, it is observed at the outer side as well as inner side also. That thickening, it is at outer and inner side also. That's why this is called as an lacunar collenchyma. Then the next type of simple tissue, it is called as an sclerenchyma. So see that as it is one of the type of simple tissue, that's why it is formed from the homogeneous tissues. The cell shows presence of protoplast. The cell wall, it is thick in nature. The cell wall shows presence of deposition of lignin, and these sclerenchyma tissues, they mainly perform the function to give support to the plant. This sclerenchyma, these are the tissues which are known as the mechanical tissues, and they perform the function of protection. So if we observe the sclerenchyma cells, they are found in two forms, that is sclerenchyma fibers and sclerites. So let's see that this is the sclerenchyma fibers. It is actually an elongated structure having the tapering ends. So these are the sclerates. These are thick. They show presence of lignin, and basically they are found in the fruit or seed coats. So these are the two types of sclerenchyma tissues, that is the sclerenchyma fibers and sclerites. So the next type of permanent tissue system, that is the complex tissue system, and that complex tissue system shows presence of two types of tissues, that is xylem and phloem. As we know that the simple tissues, they are homogeneous in nature, but the complex tissue, these are the group of heterogeneous tissues, because they are formed from the different types of cells or different type of elements. So let's see first about the xylem. See that the complex tissue, they are heterogeneous in nature. Basically, this complex tissue, they are present inside the vascular strand to form the vascular bundles. And what is the function of that complex tissue? They helps in the process of translocation of water and organic substances. So let's see that the xylem, it is formed from the four elements. So see that what are the xylem elements? Xylem parenchyma, tracheids, vessel and xylem fibers. These four are categorized as an xylem elements. So what is the function of that xylem? The xylem helps in the process of translocation of water and solutes. So let's see one by one. So see that this is the first element of xylem called as an xylem parenchyma. If we observe the structure of xylem parenchyma, the cells are square shaped. They show presence of nucleus and cytoplasm. That's why it is living in nature. And the xylem parenchyma performs the function of storage of solutes. Let's see that. This is the second element of xylem, that is tracheids. If we observe the structure, it is elongated structure having tapering both ends. If you observe here, the circular spots are there. They are called as an pits. They helps in the process of translocation. And the pits are of two types here. They are either simple pits or border pit, and they help in the process of water conduction. So this element, it is called as an tracheid. See that this is the next element of xylem. It is called as an xylem vessels. So see that this xylem vessel, it is one of the dead element. If you observe the structure, these are elongated, the cell wall is thick, and they show presence of perforations. So through that perforations, the translocation can take place. And these vessels, they are arranged one above other to form a tube-like structure, which help in the process of translocation, as well as they show presence of thickenings. So let's see what are that thickenings. So see that if the thickening, this one is the circular, so that's why it is called as an circular thickenings, which are present on the vessels. These are the circular thickenings. Then second one, if you observe here, they are called as an spiral thickenings. Then this one it is called as an scleriform thickening. This one it is called as an reticulate thickening. And see that these are the normal pits and these are the border pits. So these are the variation in the thickenings and in the pits, that is the simple pits, border pits. These are the circular thickenings, spiral thickenings, scleriform thickening, and reticulate thickening. And last member of the xylem, that is the xylem fibers. So see that the xylem fiber, these are the dead tissues because they are formed from the fibers, they are formed from the sclerenchyma, that's why it is a dead one. If we observe the structure, it is elongated, having the tapering ends, and the xylem fibers gives mechanical strength to the plant body. It gives rigidity to the plant body. This is the function of xylem fiber. So let's see that the xylem, it is formed from the four elements, that is xylem parenchyma, tracheids, vessels, and xylem fibers. So in that, remember this one, in xylem only xylem parenchyma is living one, while the tracheids, vessels, and xylem fibers, all of these three, they are the dead tissues. These are the dead tissues. So let's see about the phloem. Again, as the phloem is a complex tissue, that's why it is called as an heterogeneous in nature, and it is formed from the four elements. These four elements are sheath tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. So what is the function of that phloem? So the phloem helps in the process of food translocation. So let's see one by one. So see that the first element of phloem, it is called as an sheath tubes. So if you observe here, this is called as an sheath tubes. So these shoe tubes, they are arranged in the longitudinal series, and this shoe tubes shows the presence of cytoplasm. And if you observe here, these shoe tubes, they are perforated for the process of translocation. These shoe tubes, they are living one. So this is the structure of shoe tubes, which are elongated in nature, and they are arranged in longitudinal rows. They show presence of cytoplasm, as well as they show presence of pores, and it looks like a pipe like structure. It looks like a pipe. Now see next one, that is the companion cell. This is the second component of phloem. See that these are the shoe tubes and these are the companion cells. So these companion cells, they are always in association with the shoe tubes. So if we observe the structure of companion cells, these are elongated in nature. They show presence of cytoplasm and nucleus, while the ends, they are tapering at the both sides. And as it shows the presence of cytoplasm and nucleus, that's why it is living one. So let's see next one, that is the phloem parenchyma. So see here, this is the structure of phloem parenchyma. The cells are square shaped. They show presence of prominent nucleus and cytoplasm. They are without intracellular spaces, and as they show presence of nucleus and cytoplasm, that's why it is living one. They helps in the process of protection, as well as they stores the food material. See this one, this is the last element of phloem fiber, that is the phloem fiber. So see that this phloem fiber, it is elongated thread-like structure having both ends tapered. It gives mechanical strength to the plant body. And this xylem fiber, this is also a dead tissue. So let's see in the phloem. The phloem, it is made from the shoe tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So in that four elements, first three elements, they are living one, and the last element, that is phloem fiber, it is dead one. So now let's see the types of vascular bundles. So see that there are main four types of vascular bundles, that is collateral, bicollateral, concentric and radial. So let's see. So let's see that what is a collateral closed type of vascular bundle. So if we observe the collateral vascular bundle, they show presence of xylem at the base and phloem at the apex. So this type of arrangement of xylem and phloem, it is called as an collateral vascular bundles. Then next one is the collateral open type of vascular bundle. So see that what is the difference in between collateral closed and collateral open. The collateral open type of vascular bundle shows presence of cambium region in between the phloem and xylem. This is called as an collateral open type of vascular bundle, in which xylem, they are present at the base and the cambium, it is present at the apical region. Then the next type of vascular bundle, it is called as an bicollateral open type of vascular bundle. So see that if we observe this type of vascular bundle, At the both sides, at inner and outer side, the first layer it is of phloem. The phloem tissues, they are next to the phloem region. There is outer and inner cambium region and the centrally situated xylem region. So the bicollateral means they show presence of outer and inner cambium region. So this type of vascular bundle, it is called as an bicollateral. And as it shows presence of cambium region, that's why it is called as an bicollateral open. So this heterocentric and leptocentric, these are the examples of concentric type of vascular bundles. So let's see what is the difference in between them. So heterocentric vascular bundle means they show presence of xylem in the center, or the xylem region, it gets surrounded by the phloem region. While in leptocentric, the phloem region, it is surrounded by the xylem region. Okay, so this is the main difference in between these two. Then next comes the radial type of vascular bundle. In that, the xylem and phloem, they are radially arranged. That's why they are called as an radial type of vascular bundle. So we see this one. This is the phloem region and this one is the xylem region. And as they are going to arrange radially, that's why this type of vascular bundle, it is called as an radial type of vascular bundle. So let's see what is a cojoint type of vascular bundle. The cojoint type of vascular bundle means they show presence of xylem and phloem together in the form of bundle. And this cojoint vascular bundles are of two types, that is collateral and bicollateral. So in collateral, the xylem and phloem, they are lied together on a same radius where the xylem lies inwards and phloem at the outward. So this is called as an collateral vascular bundle in which xylem lies inwards and phloem outwards. The next comes bicollateral vascular bundle in which the phloem is found at the both sides of xylem and also shows presence of outer and inner cambium region. That type of vascular bundle, it is called as an bicollateral. Then next comes the concentric. In this concentric type, there are two types. In first type, that is a xylem is centrally situated, which is surrounded by phloem. And in second type, phloem is present in the center and a centrally situated phloem is surrounded by the xylem region. And the last type, that is the radial type of vascular bundle in which the xylem and phloem lies side by side. So see that these are the types of vascular bundles. So if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.